Alrighty guys, what is going on everybody? Welcome back here to another weather live stream, my friends. Hope everyone is doing good out there. We got ourselves a pretty big storm system ahead of us, my friends. We are definitely going to need to be keeping it out there for. But what's up, guys? Let's see who we got here today. We have Tom, we have Winnie, we have Misty, we have Tabletop, we have Jason, we have Logan, we have Becca, we have Mark. Let's see here. We have Rue, we have Severe WX, we have Sonya, we have John, Darin, hopefully I'm saying your name right, Raka, and Roaster Jim and Ice Cream. What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good out there. Once again, it's good to see you guys here. So, anyways, folks, we're going to go ahead and dive on into it. So, we are keeping a close eye on the extended range forecast regarding severe weather. Nothing going on today. Not really anything going on tomorrow. Just a few areas of thunderstorms, you know, overall. Here for day 3, which today is Monday, right? Let me make sure. I think today is Monday. Yeah, so with it being Monday here, so this would be for Wednesday. This would be Wednesday's risk here. So Wednesday we do have a little risk for severe weather. This is not the main event that we're forecasting. I just want to go ahead and mention this real quickly. Here for Wednesday, we have a little bit of severe weather possible up here across portions of Oregon State, a little bit of Washington, a little bit of Idaho. You know, a little bit of strong to severe thunderstorm activity will be possible here on Wednesday. Let's see here. What's up, Brandon? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Weather Drops, Rail Fan? We have Kim saying hello. Andrew, how you doing tonight? I'm doing pretty good. What's up, Oversteer? What's up, Misty? What's up, Jenna? Hope you're doing good. What's up, K-Jack? Let's see here. But, anyways, my friends. But, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and hop our way over here into the extended range because that is what I really got to show you guys. Actually, as we approach our way into day 6, which this is for, I believe, here, let me go ahead and bring up the SPC's page here. This is going to be for Saturday. So for Saturday, we have this is not the big day, by the way. This is just one of the days. So as we approach away into Saturday, heads up to my folks in the Midwest and the Central Plains. We are talking potential for severe weather in the yellow areas here. So, you know, here for Saturday, if you guys know anybody out there across central, eastern Oklahoma, you know, kind of central, northern Arkansas, pretty much the entire state of Missouri here is in that risk here for Saturday. Eastern Kansas, a little bit of western Illinois, maybe a little bit of southern Iowa. So this is going to be the main risk area here for Saturday. However, unfortunately, as we roll our way into Sunday, look how big this risk is. Yeah. It was a lot to take in the first time I saw it too. But for Sunday here, we do have ourselves a whopping a very large 15% risk area here for Sunday. Here for Sunday overall. So you can see, we have a large risk area here. So this will be for Sunday the 30th. So the areas in yellow is in the risk here for a little bit of severe weather activity here regarding severe thunderstorms on Sunday. So that does include some portions of Texas, Oklahoma, entire state of Arkansas, most of Louisiana, entire state of Mississippi, most of the entire state of Alabama, a little bit of northern Georgia, most of Tennessee, a lot of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, southern Michigan could see some storms, Kentucky. And you can see there's a lot of areas here. I mean, this is almost 500,000 square miles. You can see that. Look at this. Almost 500,000 square miles in the risk here just for Sunday alone. Like we mentioned, we also have Saturday too. The risk is going to start Saturday, and it's going to work its way into Sunday. But, I mean, look how big that area is. So, I mean, that's all the way from the Gulf Coast up to the Great Lakes region here, where we are seeing potential for severe weather here. Now, as of right now, this is a 15% chance probability. So what that means is that, say you're in the yellow. Okay, so say, for example, you're in this yellow area. We'll use Little Rock for an example. So say you are in within a 25-mile radius of you. So we'll go ahead and extend this out to 25 miles. So basically, there is a 15% chance of severe weather happening within a 25-mile radius of your location. So you can see that, anywhere inside of this, radius around you, saying you are the red dot here, within a 25-mile radius of you, there is a 15% chance of you seeing severe weather on Sunday. So, I mean, if you think about it, that is a relatively low percentage as of now. This is an evolving risk, though. This threat is evolving, meaning that, there could be some big changes between now and the time we get to the outlook, which will certainly occur. So we'll definitely need to keep a close eye out there for that. We'll see if they upgrade any probabilities or whatnot. But as of now, this is a 15% chance regarding severe weather possibilities. So that's, like I mentioned, there's a lot of those 25-mile radius markers that could fit inside of this whole area. So in general, severe weather will be definitely quite likely to occur here, especially for Sunday. Once again, we got a lot of people in there. So basically for any area, like we mentioned here, there is a 15% chance probability for severe weather. Here's Saturday's threat once again. We have a little bit of a risk on Saturday, and then we go our way into Sunday. And you guys can see that we do have the much larger risk. And, of course, Monday, as of right now, there's nothing, but we'll keep an eye out there for it overall. Let's see here. Let me get to some of these comments here real quickly. Jenna says, sending love from Richmond, Virginia. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Ice Cream says, thank you for all you do to keep hold on. Thank you for all you do. Keep up the amazing job. Thank you, Ice Cream. I appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate it. Let's see here. What is the tornado risk? So there's quite no breakdown yet regarding the event yet. Since we are still kind of in the extended range at the moment. So since we are kind of in that extended range, I mean, it's just a little too early to look at that exact probability. What I can do and what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna hop into models. We're gonna take a look at those weather models and kind of see where we're standing here. We're gonna pull up GFS to start things off here, because I do kind of want to do a breakdown to kind of see what this event kind of looks like here in the models. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's go ahead and bring up the models. Actually, I'm gonna bring these over here. Why not? I'll just bring them to you guys. So here we go. So this is the GFS model. Once again, like I said, the risk here is for the 29th and the 30th. So for Saturday going into Sunday. Once again, Sunday's kind of the bigger day overall, as you can see. I mean, Sunday has a really big threat, as you guys can make out here. So, yeah, we're going to take a look at the models. Let's go ahead and hop our way over into those real quickly. So the first thing I want to look at is the fuel, basically the instability, or like I said, just the fuel for storms here. Just kind of regarding how much energy we're going to have potentially in the atmosphere here. So we work our way down in time here for Let's see. This is for late Saturday going into Sunday. You can kind of see we do have a lot of instability that builds up here across like Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana here. This is for late Sunday. One thing I will mention, though, is that this is relatively capped out. Now, what does that mean? Well, capped out in weather, a cap means basically a layer of the atmosphere in which a thunderstorm cannot pass. You know, if you have a developing thunderstorm, you have that warm air that's rising. If it hits that cap, it stops because it's just basically a big change in temperatures. The temperatures warm up in the lower atmosphere, which, you know, kind of suppresses thunderstorm activity. So that is something to take into consideration here for Sunday. GFS does show a lot of instability, though. You know, a lot of fuel for storms. So if storms do occur, there's going to be enough fuel for that. Now, looking at our lower level winds, which is, you know, very important for, you know, not only what the storms are capable of doing, but, you know, just how they perform in general. Let me go ahead and bring up my pen here. So right off the bat, one of the good things I will mention here is that, you know, the area where we do have a lot of that instability, you know, that fuel for those storms. I mean, you can see a lot of the fuel goes up into the Midwest, you know, into the deep South here for for late Saturday. And in this area, looking at our lower level winds, I mean, they're really not that strong, which is good. The lower level winds are relatively weak. I mean, we're talking maybe 25, 30 knots, maybe upwards of 35 knots, you know, of winds going to the northeast here. So you can see our lower level winds are coming from the southwest, going to the northeast in this case here. So that's very important regarding the wind direction and how strong those winds are. And, you know, like I mentioned, at least for Saturday, those lower level winds are fairly weak. However, we take a look at our mid-level winds, they're actually even weaker. If you can actually see, our mid-level winds are going pretty much easterly, going from the west, going to the east here. So there is a bit of a change in wind direction here, as you can tell. A little bit of veering happening here. But like we mentioned, I mean, honestly, there's really not a lot of strong winds in the atmosphere, which is good, you know, regarding the threat, but you know, for those storms, it could be a little bit of a problem. So we'll see. At least for, you know, significant tornadic activity, I don't really see that being a big problem right now, at least for Saturday. Honestly, let's just go ahead and take a look at the moisture real quickly, and then we'll grab some sounding. So moisture looks pretty good. I mean, we are talking upper 60-degree dew points, which, you know, that's a good amount of moisture supplying to these storms here. So with that being said, I mean, really, we have a lot of energy. We have a lot of fuel for these storms, a lot of instability. We do have ourselves, like I said, a lot of moisture available. So we have the fuel, we have the moisture, and really lastly is those winds. And like I said, that's kind of limiting this event here, it looks like. Those lower level winds aren't really anything significant, and our mid-level winds are almost non-existent, according to the GFS here. So, you know, with that being said, it could be a problem for those storms they're developing. But overall, honestly, the main thing that what I would think is kind of being the main concern, at least for some of these regions here on Saturday, you know, just looking at some of these soundings and some of these QT charts, you know, it does show that there's a lot of instability. There's a lot of fuel in the atmosphere for storms. Obviously, I'm not expecting you guys to know how to read all this because it is a lot, I will tell you. But, you know, we have some values that are kind of indicating that we might have some strong winds, like our decay values are over 1,400. That's pretty high. That could really support some strong downbursts, some strong winds. And honestly, as well, I kind of see a bit of a concern for hail here as well. As you can kind of see, our mid-level atmosphere, so this is kind of our middle atmosphere. It's relatively dry, which is good for, you know, hail development and whatnot. And the fact that we still do have a lot of instability in that area as well is showing us that, you know, honestly, there could be some hail makers in this event. So given off of a sounding like this, you know, tornadoes, not really much of a concern, to be quite fair. In this type of a scenario, I think damaging winds is going to be the leading concern, following maybe some hail like we mentioned here. I think damaging winds and hail is going to be the main problem, at least for, like I said, at least for Saturday here, you know, regarding that, looking at those soundings. I mean, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty interesting overall. Let's see, Roadster Jim, my man, coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Roadster. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Absolutely smashing our goal. Thank you so much, dude. Saying thanks for the forecast, Andrew. Roadster, you are awesome, dude. I really appreciate it, and you're very, very welcome. You are very welcome. Seriously, thank you so much, man. That is really, really nice of you. Y'all in chat, please give Roadster a big thank you. That is greatly appreciated. Let's see here. How's the Pacific Northwest looking for Wednesday? Going to cover. So we do have a marginal risk out there for Wednesday, or day 3. We did mention that briefly. We don't quite have a breakdown yet regarding the exact concern, from SPC, like the exact probability. However, according to the let's see here. According to the Storm Prediction Center here, isolated severe storms are possible across parts of the Pacific Northwest on Wednesday afternoon into the evening. Synoptic patterns appear favorable for early season severe potential. Let's see here. I did see where they said a level 2 risk might be needed. Yeah, here we go. May warrant a level 2 slight risk in later outlooks. So that is possible. I will mention that. Honestly, yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on it. We'll have to keep an eye on it. I did do a little bit of model browsing before I went live earlier, and I was just kind of keeping an eye on it. It doesn't seem like tornadoes are going to be that big of a problem, but I wouldn't rule them out completely. If we take a look out there, we'll go ahead and hop our way over here real quickly to Wednesday. I mean, you can kind of see we do build in a little bit of instability here for later Wednesday. Lower level winds, ain't anything super crazy, but, an isolated tornado or two, would not be impossible, I don't think. Let's just grab a quick little sounding here just to kind of see what's going on real quickly. What's up, Scott? Hope you're doing good. Welcome, welcome. Let's see here. Ryan says good to see you. You too, my friend. Let's see here. Storm Chaser Alex says, what's good, my man? Andrew, long time no see. How's the weather looking for the Mid-Atlantic for the next several days? Any thunderstorm threats? What's up, man? Hope you're doing good. So as of now, there is no risk that goes into the Mid-Atlantic. What we got right now, once again, this is Saturday's risk here. Saturday, we have a risk across the yellow, so areas like Missouri, Illinois, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, whatnot. For the Mid-Atlantic, as we roll our way into Saturday, Sunday. I'm getting these days mixed up, man. This is Sunday's risk. So for Sunday, you can see we're not quite in the Mid-Atlantic, and this is day 7. So this is still several days out, right? So it's a little early to tell, to be quite fair, considering we still are several days away from this event here. We'll keep an eye on it, and I'll let you know if there's any changes. As of now, I am not very concerned for that area just because of how far out it is and how much stuff can change, between now and then. So I will say keep an eye on the event. Keep an eye out there for the storm system. As the thing rolls eastward, there's a very good chance that severe weather could continue to roll eastward with it. But as of the current moment, you are not in any form of risk from the Storm Prediction Center. So right now, obviously, we just need to go off of what SPC suggests, regarding these outlooks. Once again, here for Saturday, we got this little 15% risk here. I say little, even though it's still a pretty good size risk. And then, of course, the massive risk we have on Sunday. I mean, just a huge area, dude. A lot of areas in that 15%. So, yeah. But as of now, for the Mid-Atlantic, not really seeing a whole lot. So, hopping back to the soundings, I think this was for Oregon. So like we mentioned, we are going to have a little bit of a risk for storms and severe weather across the Pacific Northwest on Wednesday. It is going to be certainly possible. Let's grab another sounding up here. We'll grab one up in northeastern Oregon. And then we're going to do more soundings and stuff for the future event for a lot of the folks otherwise. So a lot of these storms appear elevated, meaning that basically the storm bases are going to be very tall, very high up. And the reason is because, we don't have much moisture in the lower atmosphere. However, thunderstorm conditions are definitely going to be possible in more of the upper atmosphere. So these storms are going to be relatively elevated. Tornadoes, like I mentioned, I don't think is going to be much of a problem for Wednesday in the Pacific Northwest. We'll have to see how things, play out and everything and how the models continue to support this. But main concern, I think, is just going to be gusty winds and whatnot. I think that's going to be kind of the main problem. It's just maybe some damaging wind gusts and whatnot. But we'll keep you all updated with that. As we get more updates from the Storm Prediction Center and whatnot, we'll make sure that we keep you guys informed, which, you guys know we'll definitely do. We'll definitely keep you all updated with everything. Anyways, hopping our way over here back into, let's go back to the full U.S. view. So going back into the main event, so that was Sunday, Saturday that we looked at before we looked at the Pacific Northwest. Now let's look at Saturday. Sorry, Sunday. Why do I keep mixing it up, dude? I keep on messing these days up. So now we're rolling our way into Sunday, which Sunday, like I mentioned, is the big risk day. You know, the area that has a lot of areas the day that has a lot of areas in the risk, essentially. Let me look at some of these comments real quickly. I miss really good thunderstorms here. I do too. I do miss a good storm. I ain't gonna lie. As long as it doesn't do anything nasty, then they're pretty nice. But yeah, whenever they become problematic, with winds and tornadoes and hail, that's when we have an issue. Anyways, so yeah, looking back at the models here. Once again, we're on the GFS model at the 18 Zulu run. This is the latest one, I believe, that we have. Yep. So the 0 Zulu has not rendered yet. So yeah, looking at the amount of instability in the atmosphere, I mean, you can see that we do have a lot of areas that are relatively unstable in regarding to the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is pretty unstable here for Saturday. Going into Sunday here, this is for Sunday here, late Sunday, we do have a lot of instability that does build its way into the Deep South, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley even. And honestly, the GFS does suggest actually a fairly decent amount of instability, especially down towards the Midwest and the Deep South. We are talking well over possibly 2,000 joules per kilogram of instability, which, it's a little early right now to take that too seriously, but that would definitely be a lot of instability at play. So we have the fuel for those storms. Like I mentioned, these areas here is kind of where that overlaps. We'll keep that little marker there. Now looking at our dew points, I mean, you guys can notice here, just by looking at our dew point temperatures, I mean, we're talking dew points in the 60s, and even close to the 70s in some areas here. One thing you guys are going to really know with this is how muggy it's going to get. So that is one thing, before the storm happens, before the storm system really kind of takes fold, you guys are going to really notice here that it's probably going to get pretty muggy. I mean, we're talking dew points in the upper 60s in some areas here, lower 70s in some spots possibly. I mean, that is definitely a pretty good amount of moisture here. So basically, we're getting a lot of this moisture just being kicked up from the Gulf here. So we're really, pulling up a lot of that moisture from the Gulf, and it's shooting its way up here into the country. And like I mentioned here, it's, definitely going to be supplying a pretty good amount of moisture and whatnot. So we have a lot of moisture. That is not an issue with this storm system here. We have a lot of instability. The fuel, the energy in the atmosphere for these storms, that is not lacking either. And really looking now at the lower level winds, I mean, you can kind of see... to be quite fair, I mean, our lower level winds aren't anything significant. As of now, remember, things can still change. Obviously, we're still evolving. This event is still evolving, so things could definitely change between now and then. But just going off of what we're looking at right now with those lower level winds, which, for those people who don't know, lower level winds are very important for like tornadoes, for tornado development, overall storm health, essentially, and, how it's organizing. So, with that being said, lower level winds aren't really anything super strong. Obviously, we had a lot of our fuel, a lot of our instability, really in this area. And that kind of lines up where, the strongest of the lower level winds are. So you can see in this case, we have our lower level winds going to the northeast here. From the southwest going to the northeast at right around 40 knots, which, 40 knot lower level jet is... It's decent. I mean, it's not anything excessive, but it's enough to, I think definitely could be, potentially tornadic producing. We'll have to see. But, 40 knots, yeah, pretty decent. But, yeah, these are northeasterlies. Now, as we go up in altitude, so now we're working our way towards the middle atmosphere, you guys kind of notice here that our winds change directions a bit more to the east. So there is a bit of veering going on. So the winds are actually changing directions as we go up in altitude. And that change in wind direction can actually create some spin in the atmosphere, in which, I personally think, at least from what this model is suggesting here from the GFS, there could be some tornadic activity with this event. But I don't think it's going to be the main concern, if that makes any sense. Here, let's go ahead and grab some more soundings. We're going to grab one across central Mississippi here just to kind of see what we're looking at here for late Sunday. So looking at these soundings, first thing I want to mention here is that, there is a little bit of a veering here. I mean, you can see that there's a little bit of a hook here on the hodograph. Honestly, I wouldn't rule out, like I said, tornado potential here for Sunday. I would not rule it out. I do think it will be a risk, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be the main risk overall. Looking at this QT, so basically this is ground level. So we're just looking at the temperatures and whatnot throughout the atmosphere, from ground and up. So this is basically ground level. This is the surface here, and this is going up in the atmosphere. And you can see this is right around 12 kilometers. This is 15 kilometers. So, you guys can kind of see how we're, going up in altitude. But one thing I do see here in these soundings is that there is a lot of instability. There is a lot of fuel for storms. So we're going to get some pretty tall top thunderstorms. So we're going to get a lot of that warm air that starts to rise up into the cooler atmosphere. So as you go up in altitude, the atmosphere cools down. That is allowing for the condensing to occur from that warm, moisture-filled air at the ground level to go up into the atmosphere. And there's a lot of instability, so it's going to continue to rise until it hits this level here. We call this the equilibrium level, pretty much the top of the thunderstorm, essentially. Like I mentioned, I mean, these storms have potentials to be, over 12 kilometers tall, just from a sounding like this. We shouldn't take it too serious right now, but just looking at soundings here, early soundings, I mean, there is definitely a pretty good amount of instability. Now, most of our winds, you can tell. So this is looking at our wind direction and wind speed. We call these wind barbs. So you go up in altitude, the winds are relatively moving in the same direction, from lower levels to upper levels. So you can see the winds are mostly moving from the west going to the east. There is a little bit of wind direction change at the lower atmosphere, and that's going to give us the potential, I believe, and maybe a couple of tornadoes developing, in a sounding like this. There overall, but good amount of instability. One thing I do notice here, dew points in the mid 60s, good amount of lower level moisture. Lot of instability. Moisture's good. Fuel's good. But once again, in a sounding like this, I think that the damaging winds and maybe even some hail is going to be kind of the main problem here. So that was across Mississippi. Let's grab one a little further up north. Let's go to south central Missouri here. Let's see what's going on. So one of the things is that actually the higher you go up in latitude, so basically the higher up you go into the country, the stronger the wind shear is going to be. So the stronger the winds are going to be, not on the ground level, but in the upper atmosphere, the winds increase in wind speed the higher you go up into, relatively into or up into latitude, I should say. So looking back at our wind shear, you can see that a lot of our middle atmosphere winds here, are relatively strong, across, the Midwest and whatnot, and, not as much across the deep South. So as we go up in, latitude, we actually do pick up here, some stronger winds, which, could help contribute to better storm organization and whatnot, but like I mentioned before, there's a lot of ingredients. It's like making a cake. If you have too much of one ingredient, it doesn't turn out well. If you have too little of one ingredient, it doesn't turn out well. If you have just a right amount of ingredients, it turns out good. It's kind of the similar way in forecasting and just weather here. I mean, in this case, we have a lot of fuel, a lot of instability for these storms, so that's good. So that's there. And like I mentioned here, we have a lot of moisture, which is, like a lot of moisture, dew points in the mid-upper 60s in some spots. That's good moisture, so that's good. So we have the moisture, we have the instability. Those are good. And then lastly, we have, really the main last ingredient is those winds. In the lower atmosphere, it's kind of lacking a little bit. But 40 knots is definitely enough to get some things done. Like I mentioned, I do think that tornadoes will still be a concern here, but I don't think it's going to be the dominant threat. I think that once again, damaging winds and hail is probably going to be the main concerns. Following and trailing behind would be that tornado threat overall. So, in our lower atmosphere here, we do have once again these winds moving to the northeast here. Going to the northeast here from the southwest. As we go further. Or like I said, the winds are basically going to the northeast. And as we go further up in altitude, so this is roughly right around 5,000 feet or so, so relatively shallow. I mean, not super, super high up, but it's, lower level winds here. Those are northeasterly about 40 knots or so, which, is, once again, enough to get stuff done. And then, of course, we go up into the atmosphere, and you notice how the wind direction from these wind barbs are more easterly. So the winds are going, instead of from the southwest to the northeast, these are going from the west to the east. So, like I said, the wind direction is changing a little bit as we go up in altitude. So with that being said, there is a little bit of that veering that we were talking about, in which, tornadoes, I think, certainly could be a concern. But once again, here for Sunday, I think the main concern is going to be the threat between damaging winds kind of being the main problem, going to hail, and then tornadoes. But once again, this is also still early model talk too. There definitely is still a lot of things that could change here, with the models and whatnot. So we got to keep that in mind as well. But this is just kind of early analysis and just kind of, early look at things. And you can really see all that moisture that comes up from the Gulf here, as we work way down in time. And then that cold front, we get that air mass coming from behind and really, knocks all that warm air out. So that's going to be the main source of lift. That is going to be the main initiator of storms. It's going to be that cold front. And so, with that being said, it wouldn't be quite surprising if we just had a long line of storms. Once again, damaging winds kind of being the main concern, but we'll see. All right, let me go ahead and go to some of these comments here, y'all. See here. What's up, Andy? Hope you're doing good. Welcome. Let's see here. Yuna says, am I crazy for thinking a setup like this might struggle to remain discreet based off of that one sounding? I wish I knew what sounding you were looking at, because I looked at a bunch of them. But honestly, main mode, I mean, obviously, it is a little too early to tell if there is going to be, prefrontals, semi-discrete to discrete supercells, ahead of the line. It's a little early for that, just because of how far out we are still in time. More than likely, this event is just mostly going to be a long line of storms, kind of similar to these last couple events we've had. Just a long line, a long squall, more than likely, carrying that, embedded wind threats, possibly some, embedded tornadoes and whatnot. Like I said, still things are up for grabs, still things are evolving. And, this event is still, still not set in stone yet. I mean, this is long-range guidance. This is far guidance right now. Once we start to pull our way into, like, mid-range guidance, like from NAM and whatnot, then, we'll start to get a little bit better of an idea. Roadster says, Andrew, baking a cake analogy. Excellent. Thanks, Roadster. Yeah, like I said, I'm not the best teacher. I don't explain things the best, but, I try to kind of explain, what's making this event decent and what could improve on this event. And like I said, from the models, like the GFS we're looking at right now, it seems like there is, once again, there's 4 main ingredients you need for severe weather. Sometimes I'll say 3, but 4 really main ingredients. You need a source of lift, which, gets that warm air from the ground and shoots it up into the cooler upper atmosphere, which in that case, we have this really strong cold front. You can already see that's going to be quite the source of lift. So that's going to be that. Another thing is, the moisture, like we talked about, these dew points here, in the 60s, that's pretty good. Severe weather, you can have dew points in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. 60s and 70s, kind of the Goldilocks zone regarding the best dew point temperatures, for storms and severe weather and whatnot. So that's going to supply enough moisture for these storms in general. So you guys are definitely going to notice the mugginess overall. You guys are definitely going to notice that quite a bit. And then, of course, like we mentioned, the instability, the fuel in the atmosphere. I mean, from what it looks like, there's going to be a pretty good amount of instability here. I mean, GFS suggests, a pretty solid amount of energy, pretty solid, unstable atmosphere, not just across the South, but also leading its way up into the Midwest, and, some of that unstable air even working its way towards the Ohio Valley. I mean, giving that threat here that we have, in this case here for Sunday, everywhere in the yellow here is in that severe weather risk area from the Storm Prediction Center as of right now. Anyways, see, Dylan says at least you try. You seem to know enough as well. Keep rocking, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for over 8 years, so I'm just not the best at explaining it. It's kind of more of a mental model in my head in terms of how things click. I just can't explain them the best. I try my best though. The main thing is just to make sure you guys are weather aware and just kind of letting you guys know what the main concern is. And so here for Saturday, like I mentioned, this is Saturday's risk. There's a threat for severe weather across Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, a little bit of extreme southeastern Nebraska, southern Iowa, and western Illinois here for Saturday. And like we mentioned here, kind of applies for Saturday and Sunday. I think the main concern is going to be damaging wind gusts, some strong winds on these storms, and as well as maybe a bit of hail. Still can't rule out any tornadoes, because I do think that tornadoes will be a concern, possibly between Saturday and Sunday. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be the leading threat. That leading threat, I think, is going to be damaging winds overall. Just potential for damaging wind gusts in those storms. So yeah, that is there for that's there for Saturday. So then we work our way into Sunday. Like I mentioned, the risk area is much larger, as you guys can tell. We have a lot of areas here in the threat for Sunday, which, we have portions of eastern Texas, Louisiana, the entire state of Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, a little bit of extreme southeastern Kansas, a lot of Missouri, a lot of Illinois, a lot of Indiana, a little bit of southern Michigan, central western Ohio, pretty much all of Kentucky, pretty much all of Tennessee. The entire state of Mississippi is in the risk. Not everybody will see severe weather in these areas, but it's just, those areas, the environment will be capable of producing severe weather in those areas. Therefore, you could get severe storms. But, once again, not everybody will experience severe weather. And, of course, also areas up in, like, northern Georgia is in that risk there. So, I mean, you can see, this is a pretty good amount of areas here in that risk area. Pretty solid amount of people here. This covers about 61 million people. Just in Sunday's threat alone as of now, which that's roughly about 500,000 square miles. And then, of course, here for, let's see, Saturday's threat, population's almost 15 million, with about almost 200,000 square miles. So, yeah, you can see that Sunday's threat's obviously much larger than Saturday's threat, but this nastiness will start on Saturday, like we mentioned here. All right, let's see here. Let me see. Average says I'm in the yellow for days 6 and 7. Be careful. Yeah, keep an eye out there for it. Remember, things can still change here. We still are in the extended range outlook here and everything, but we'll see. How's Springfield, Missouri? So, Springfield, yeah, you can see here, obviously, for Saturday. We are in the risk for Saturday, as you mentioned. And Sunday, we are in that risk as well. So I would, as of now, the exact breakdown between the probability of seeing tornadoes, large hail and damaging winds is a little too early. Just considering this is still, several days out. What we need to take from this, though, is that you are in the active risk for severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center saying, hey, just heads up, Saturday, Sunday, in your area, severe thunderstorms will certainly be possible. So just keep an eye on the weather and just keep an eye on it. That's really what you need to take of it right now. And, like we mentioned here, in the models and stuff like that, from what I was looking at, I think the main concern is going to be damaging wind gusts, following hail, and then tornadoes. I think all hazards will be on the table, of course, but, the leading concern, I think, is going to be damaging winds and stuff. I don't think tornadoes are going to be the main problem. Just considering the way that, the jet stream is set up, want to explain, between this event here, so you can kind of see in our lower level winds here, this event, we have a lot of those winds coming from the southwest to the northeast, right around 40 knots or so. So that crazy outbreak that we had a couple weeks ago, that had a different setup, in which basically the lower level winds were coming up north, from the south to the north. So angle of attack is very important too of the winds. So lower level winds here, we're going directly from the south to the north, and they changed to the northeast as we went up in altitude. And we had that veering, we had that change in wind direction, which created that tornadic environment. And those winds were much stronger. I mean, we were like 60, 70 knots of lower level winds. This is 40 knots, and like I mentioned, the winds are coming from the southwest to the northeast. Believe it or not, it does play a certain role as well in the wind direction. But still, we do have a bit of veering. I mean, of course, our mid-level winds here, we are seeing easterlies, coming from the west going to the east here. That's, obviously that gives us a little bit of potential for tornadoes and whatnot, but once again, the winds are a little bit weaker for this event, and, the wind direction's different, which, once again, that kind of helps contribute to, I believe, a lower tornado threat in general, overall. Let's see here. Let me pull this up here. Can I check on a zip code? Yes. On Sunday. I got you, Shadow. Got you. Let me go and pull up yours real quickly. This is in Kentucky. Okay, so for, let's see, day 7. Okay, yeah, so this is for Sunday. You are in that 15% risk area. So like I mentioned, all you really need to take out of this right now is that, okay, there's a 15% chance of severe weather occurring within a 25-mile radius of your location. So within a 25-mile radius around you, there is a 15% chance of severe weather occurring. And that's for Sunday. So make sure you're watching the weather on Sunday. That's about all I can really tell you right now, just because of the fact that, models can change, which they likely will, either allowing the storm to be more concerning or less concerning. The models can still change either way. So we'll see. But what you need to take right now is that, yes, you are in the risk for potential severe weather on Sunday. So just keep an eye out there for that, okay? All right. Let me see here. Weather Republic says, what does it look like for northern Indiana? So the entire state of Indiana is in that 15% risk area here for Sunday. So, same thing applies to you, my friend. I mean, yeah, y'all just need to keep an eye on this here for Sunday. Looking back to the GFS and whatnot, for this event. The GFS does suggest, some of that instability does, does work its way up there into, Indiana. Can't take it too, super specifically right now because, this is one model run and whatnot. So there is, this is likely going to look a little different by the time we get to the event. But, we do potentially build up some instability into that region there. Lower level winds. We talked about this here. I mean, yeah, it seems like our lower level winds are going to be kind of the strongest, maybe towards the lower Midwest, into the upper part of the southern states here. I mean, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Once again, things could definitely look a lot different between now and then. But what we can take for this right now is that, it does look like we have all ingredients in place. We have the wind shear, even though it could be better. We have the wind shear. We have a lot of instability. We have a good amount of moisture, a strong source of lift with that cold front that we have coming through. So, and obviously since SPC does have you in that 15% chance probability, yeah, we need you to keep an eye out there for it, okay? Let's see here. All right, Noah, I got you, my friend. Let me take a look at your area, see if you're in the risk here. Yeah. So, yeah, your threat's going to be on Sunday. Once again, the entire state of Indiana is in the severe weather risk, but remember, not everybody will see severe weather in these areas. This is just where the environment will be capable of producing severe weather. So basically, you being in Indianapolis, so within a 25-mile radius around you, there is a 15% chance that we will see severe weather within that radius around you. So nearby, essentially, there is that 15% chance. So keep that in mind. You need to be weather aware on Sunday, but It still is several days out. There's plenty of days to prepare for this. And not to mention, still room for a lot of changes. You could be pulled away from the risk even still, considering we are still a week out, basically, and whatnot. So that is that. We'll keep you informed. But as of now, just know you are in that risk area, so just be weather aware. All right, Kazo, hopefully I'm saying your name right. Take a look at your zip code, my friend. Let's see what we got going on here. So this is up in Memphis. Yeah, so same thing for you. I mean, you can kind of see here for Sunday, you're kind of in the middle of that risk there. So, yes, there is going to be potential for severe weather out there by Memphis. So, remain weather aware out there. Hopping back to the models, at least according to GFS and whatnot, we definitely could build in a pretty good amount of instability or fuel in the atmosphere for these storms towards that area. Lower level winds, once again, take this with a grain of salt, possibly right around 40, 45 knots or so, which, is pretty decent lower level winds. Mid level winds, about 50 knots, enough to get storms organized. And, we'll have to see about tornadoes and whatnot, because I do think it is going to be a concern. But once again, I think winds, damaging wind gusts is going to kind of be the leading problem. But we'll see. Once again, there is still possibly going to be some changes between now and then, but just know, you are in the risk area here for Sunday, so just keep an eye out there for it, okay? Let's see here. Hopefully it'll be live. Oh yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys updated with this. Don't worry about that. I'll make sure to give you guys updates. I want to start making videos again more. All right, let's see here. Princess wants me to take a look at Indiana. This is actually out there by one of the other viewers. Yeah, so like we mentioned, the entire state of Indiana is in the risk area. Now, once again, remember, this is not everybody. Not everybody will see severe weather, okay? This is just a probability-based thing saying you are within, like I said, the environment is capable of severe weather in your area. So basically, within a 25-mile radius of your location, there is a 15% chance of severe weather happening. So, we'll keep you updated. But yeah, you are in the risk area out there, so keep an eye out there for Sunday, as severe weather is going to be possible. All right, Polly, I got you, my friend. Let's see here. This is up in Texas. So for Sunday, we're not in the risk here. Saturday, not either. So you're up by Dallas. Yeah, Dallas area as of right now is not in the risk. Let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't really look like you guys are going to be in that risk here. According to GFS here for late Saturday, let me grab a sounding. It looks like the environment's pretty capped out, which might prevent a lot of thunderstorms from happening. Well, you know what? Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of a cap here, which could be hard for storms to develop. I wouldn't rule out potential for storms, though. I mean, there's a lot of instability out here, potentially, here for late Saturday. If storms can break through that cap, that would be a pretty good environment for severe weather. So I'm going to leave that to SPC. If they extend you into risk, I'll let you know. But Polly, as of now, you're not in that risk area from the Storm Prediction Center. But just given the environment out there, I wouldn't say it's impossible. Let me look at what Euro suggests. It'd be good to kind of compare this here. Let's pull up the Euro. Okay. Yeah. Euro also shows a pretty good amount of instability or fuel in the atmosphere over the Dallas area here for Saturday going into Sunday. Euro, not much of a lower level wind, not much lower level winds, which is good. Yeah, wind shear seems pretty weak. So storms could be, for storms that do develop, they could shoot up quick, but their potential is significantly lowered because of how weak these winds are in the atmosphere. Yeah, we don't even gotta worry about moisture because we have upper 60 dew points. That's a good amount of moisture. So, yeah, everything's in place for severe weather. I definitely do believe so for Saturday. I would certainly keep an eye out there for Saturday. As severe weather definitely seems possible, but SPC, like I mentioned right now, does not have your area in the risk. But we'll see. Just don't be surprised if they extend it into that region. between the European model, and the GFS, the American model, between those two models, it certainly looks like that could be possible. The environment, I think, could certainly be possible. We just got to see how future models kind of hold and stuff as well. Let's see here. Logan says, what about northeastern Oklahoma on Saturday? So for Saturday, as you can see, central eastern Oklahoma is in that risk area. So we do have the risk for severe weather. Rich, thank you so much for subscribing, man. I appreciate it. So we do have the risk out there. So Storm Prediction Center does have you in a risk. Like we mentioned here, this is a 15% chance probability. We'll use Tulsa for an example, okay? So let's say that you are right here. Say you live right there in that red dot, okay? So within a 25-mile radius of that area, so this is 25 miles around your location. Let's say you are in that red area, just hypothetically. So given that this is a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather, this includes the collective of winds, tornadic activity, and hail, if they were all to be a concern, which, out here, I think main concern is going to be winds and maybe hail, but we'll see how that continues to play out. With that being said, so say you are in that red area, within a 25-mile radius around you, there is a 15% chance that severe weather could happen anywhere in this region. Anywhere. I mean, you could have damaging winds here. You could have, say an isolated, I'm not saying there will be, but say an isolated tornado there. Or, strong or large hail here. So within a 25-mile radius around you, there is a 15% chance of severe weather happening in that region. Does that make sense? Hopefully that kind of makes sense in general. So, I mean, as you can imagine, 15% chance, you might be thinking, well, that's not really that great of a probability. It's not. But a 15% chance, in regarding to severe weather potential, it's pretty decent. It is a decent shot, and certainly is something you should not brush off. It is definitely something that you need to keep an eye out there for. Once again, I mean, there could be future upgrades or updates to this here, meaning, it could be stronger than what we were expecting, if models trend that way. Not saying they will, but they could. But as of now, what you need to take out of this is that, yes, you are at risk for severe weather on Saturday. So just keep an eye on it, and that's about what you need to do right now. Just keep an eye on the event, and we'll keep you updated. We'll keep you updated here. All right. Let me see here. Sorry, y'all. There's a lot of comments here. If I accidentally go over a couple of your alls, I'm not doing that intentionally. I just gotta try to keep up with everybody. Let's see here. JC wants me to look at a zip code. I got you. Let me pull up your zip code real quickly. You are in Georgia, my friend. Alrighty, so for Sunday, okay, so you are on the edge of that 15% risk out there, JC, for Sunday. So, yeah, same thing kind of applies for you. Just keep an eye out there for severe weather potential. The Storm Prediction Center believes that your area could be impacted by severe weather on Sunday. So what you need to do is just keep an eye on the weather. There's no reason to, worry about this or freak out about it right now, but just keep a close eye on it. There still is room for changes. Models can definitely still change at this point in time. This is still several days out, so keep that in mind. But yeah, with that being said, though, you are in that risk area. Storm Prediction Center thinks it is possible, and, from what we were looking at, it looks quite possible that we could get some severe storms out there on Sunday. So keep an eye out there for it. All right, let's see here. Robert says, hello, just popped in. Have not, how is Springfield, Missouri? So Springfield, I forgot I saw that selected. Whoops. So Springfield is in the risk here. Actually, between Saturday and Sunday. Springfield, Missouri, you need to be weather aware. Once again, Storm Prediction Center does have that 15% chance probability of severe weather in the region. Once again, not everybody in this yellow area will see severe weather, but this area here, the environment will be capable of producing severe weather in the areas in yellow here for Saturday in this case. So between Saturday and Sunday, yes, you are in the risk areas, so keep an eye out there for it, okay? Let's see here. Texas is very unstable. Yeah, there's a lot of instability out there between both models, like GFS and Euro. We'll go ahead and take a look at those again real quickly. I mean, here's Euro, the ECMWF here. I mean, you can see that. Yeah, I mean, Euro suggests possibly a good maybe 3, possibly 4,000 joules per kilogram of instability. Most unstable Cape here, and then you got the GFS here for late Saturday, suggesting over 3,000 joules per kilogram. Yeah, that's a lot of fuel. That is a lot of instability. So, I mean, you can have decently organized severe weather events in, 1,000 joules per kilogram. So that 3,000, that's potentially a lot of instability in the atmosphere for sure. 64 dew points, good. Yeah, for severe weather, that is enough moisture for sure. Especially the lower your temperature is too. Say you have an environment with 70-degree temperatures and 64-degree dew points. That's pretty good. That indicates that there's a lot of moisture in the lower atmosphere, relatively humid, which could be good for storm development. Yes. Let's see here. You're welcome, JC. No problem. What about Springfield, Missouri? So Springfield, Missouri. Let me pull up Springfield. Oh yeah, we actually looked at Springfield. Yeah. So once again, if you weren't here whenever I went over Springfield. So yeah, we do need to keep an eye out there for Springfield here on Saturday and Sunday. Storm Prediction Center does have these areas in that 15% risk area. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for it. All right, Ty, I got you, my friend. Let me look at your zip code real quickly. You are in Ohio. Yep, so for Sunday, you are in the risk area, my friend. Like we mentioned earlier, for Sunday, we possibly could have severe weather as high up as Michigan. All the way from the Gulf Coast, pretty much all the way up to the Great Lakes, severe weather will be possible here for Sunday. All right, Logan, I got you. You're up in Wisconsin. So, yeah, not quite there. SPC does not have a risk for your area here for Sunday. It's close. You can see that you're pretty close to that 15% risk that we have here for Sunday. From what the models suggest, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting a whole lot of instability up that way. But who knows? Things could still change here, Things could still change. GFS shows a little bit of instability. I mean, Euro does as well. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But as of now, you're not in that risk area. But we'll keep you updated if anything does change. Okay. Yeah, Ricky, Southern Michigan for Sunday. There is a little risk here for Southern Michigan for potential of severe weather. So we'll keep an eye on it. Let's see here. Ty says, thank you, Andrew. No problem. You're very welcome. See here. Roadster says it's a huge risk area. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look how big Sunday's risk is. Yeah, Sunday has a very large risk area. So you guys can see a pretty good chunk of the states here is going to be at risk for severe weather on Sunday. Once again, not everybody will see severe weather on Sunday in the risk area. It just means that these areas that's in that yellow region, the environment will be capable of producing severe weather in these regions. So, severe weather is going to be quite possible for a pretty good amount of people here. Once again, not everybody will, though, okay? But it's still something you definitely should not brush off. It is something you need to take seriously. And, remember, like I said, it is still several days out. There is still some things that can change. But, generally speaking, we have enough confidence that there is a risk that's now issued. Storm Prediction Center was confident enough to put out a risk already. And if you're in that risk, it means that we definitely do think that there could be severe weather in your area. Logan says, thank you, Andrew. No problem. No problem at all, my friend. Anyways, folks, well, if y'all have any more questions before I roll off here, feel free to let me know. We're getting ready to roll off here overall. But if you guys, do enjoy this here, consider leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. Tomorrow, I'm not going to make any promises because it seems like whenever I say I'm going to do something, I don't end up doing it. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I say I'm going to stream and then something just comes up in the way and I completely forget about it. So from now on, I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm going to do because what I do, that's usually whatever it messes up. So I'm going to try to do. I'm definitely gonna do something tomorrow. I can promise you that we'll do something tomorrow. I definitely do plan on live streaming at least. Maybe video. I mean, I need to make a video. I probably should make a video. So we'll do that tomorrow. Maybe something at least. I can promise you we'll do something at least. Let's see here. Can you give me a little summary since I came in late? Yeah, or you can rewind and go back in the stream. But so this is Saturday's risk. So these areas in yellow is at risk for potential severe weather for Saturday. And then Sunday's risk is here, which covers a lot of places, as you can tell. So with that being said, yes, we do have ourselves a lot of areas that's at risk for severe weather. Based off of the models I went over, I think damaging winds and hail are going to be the main concern following that tornado threat. I do think all hazards will be a concern, but I do think that the damaging wind threat will be kind of the main superior threat, at least from what I'm seeing now. Once again, models can still change. There is that possibility. What does tor mean in soundings? It means that, tornadic activity is possible, essentially. It's a possible hazard type. There's all kinds of them, like severe, marginal severe, means like low-end severe thunderstorm potential. Tor meaning, potential for tornadoes and whatnot. You shouldn't go off of that alone, though, because, potential hazard type is not something you should really completely go off of. You need to know your ingredients, to be honest with you. Yeah, knowing your ingredients is what you should look at and not potential hazard type. That just kind of gives you a quick little summary, I guess. I never really use it, though. I don't. Anyways, Dylan says, thanks, Andrew. See you on the flip side. You too, my friend. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Princess says, you have a great night in there. You as well, my friend. It's okay, Andrew. We don't hold it against you. Your life gets busy. Yeah, I know. I just hate saying something and then something pops up and I completely forget to do it. So that's why I'm not promising nothing, except for tomorrow. I do promise I will do something tomorrow. Either video or live stream. More than likely a live stream again, but we'll see. Anyways. Denise says, what about Hamilton and Oxford, Ohio on Sunday? How severe for these areas? So, as you can see, a lot of Ohio is in the risk area here for Sunday. The only area that's really not in that risk area is the far eastern side as of now. So, for Oxford, here for Sunday, we are in that 15% chance risk area here. And for Hamilton, let me pull up. Okay, well, Hamilton's right here. I can actually see it. So, yeah, Oxford and Hamilton, we do have ourselves a 15% chance probability for seeing severe weather. So, Sunday, within a 25-mile radius of those locations, there is a 15% chance that severe weather could occur, which, you might think it's a relatively low-end chance, which, obviously, more than likely you won't see severe weather, but it's something you shouldn't brush off because a lot of people likely will see severe weather, in which, some of the regions out by you could support it. Just know severe weather is going to be possible in your area, and you need to just keep an eye on the weather forecast. You need to keep an eye on it, Denise. So, I consider a 15% risk area a decent shot for severe weather, even though it's a 15%, But there is that potential. And, like I mentioned, there's a chance, pretty good chance, that it will not remain just a 15%. As we do get closer to the event, that risk will, possibly have maybe some upgrades. We'll have to see. It just depends, We'll just have to see how the models hold up and everything as well. But, Alright, everybody. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here for this live. If y'all did enjoy it, leave a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It'll be greatly appreciated. Like I said, I'm sorry to kind of end it here, but, you know, like I mentioned, we usually go live for about an hour or so just to kind of, you know, give you guys a little update. Plus, it's, you know, getting a little late out there. We'll do something tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated in the loop. If you guys would like to stay weather aware, once again, consider subscribing. Maybe sharing this to a friend or family member. It'd be greatly appreciated. But, all right, my friends. Well, stream's going to head off here in approximately 1 minute. So go ahead and say goodbye to your friends, your family, anybody you're hanging out with in the chat. Once again, I appreciate all of y'all for joining. Thank you all so much for being here. It's, you know, greatly appreciated. It's good to have y'all. Alrighty, my friends. Well, once again, thank you so much. A big shout out goes to Roadster Jim. Once again, for the support. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much for the donation. Big shout out goes to you, Roadster. Really appreciate it. But, all right, everybody. Well, you all take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. And we will see you guys here tomorrow. All right. Peace out, my friends. Catch y'all in the next one. See you later.